Alex loved a challenge. The thrill of the unknown, the call of the wild, it was all too enticing for him to resist. Every new trail was a test of his endurance, his willpower, and his spirit. Pine Ridge Trail was infamous, rugged, remote, unforgiving, perfect. It was the kind of place that separated the casual hikers from the true adventurers. The stories of its treacherous paths and unpredictable weather only fueled Alex's desire to conquer it.
I trained for weeks. Map, compass, every detail memorized. I knew the terrain, the potential pitfalls, and the landmarks. I was ready for whatever Pine Ridge had to throw at me. Extra layers, food, all the essentials. I packed meticulously, ensuring I had everything I might need for the journey ahead. Water, all packed. Hydration was key, and I made sure to carry enough to last me through the toughest stretches of the trail.
He set off, eager to test himself. The air was crisp, pines soared skyward, sunbeams dappled the trail. Beautiful but deceptively tranquil. The path narrowed, the air grew colder. Each step took him deeper into the heart of the wilderness, where nature reigned supreme. The sun, a distant memory. The forest grew darker, the shadows longer. The once inviting trail now seemed to close in around him, the trees whispering secrets of the night.
I pressed on, intoxicated by the isolation. I consulted my map, all seemed well. The solitude was both a comfort and a challenge, pushing me to rely on my instincts and training.
But doubt crept in. The once clear path now seemed uncertain. The mist began to roll in, obscuring the way forward. The trail markers were gone. Panic started to set in. Had he missed a turn? Was he still on the right path? Dusk approached, casting long, eerie shadows. The forest transformed into a maze of darkness, each shadow a potential threat. Alex knew he had to find his way before nightfall or risk being lost in the wilderness. Panic surged. Alex was lost. The dense forest seemed to close in on him, every tree looking the same, every path leading nowhere. His heart raced as he realized the gravity of his situation. He had ventured too far off the trail, and now, the way back, was a mystery. He tried to retrace his steps. Every turn seemed wrong. The familiar landmarks he relied on were nowhere to be seen. His mind raced through the possibilities, but each path seemed to lead him deeper into the unknown. The sun was beginning to set, casting long shadows that only added to his disorientation. Darkness fell, swift and absolute. The temperature plummeted. Fear clawed at him. The once vibrant forest now felt like a cold, unwelcoming void. He could hear the distant calls of nocturnal animals, a reminder of how isolated he was. The cold seeped into his bones, making every movement a struggle.
I had to stay calm. Panicking would only make things worse. I took deep breaths, trying to steady my racing heart. I remembered the survival tips I had read about, focusing on the immediate needs: warmth, shelter, and water. My mind cleared a bit, and I began to think more rationally. I found shelter under a rocky overhang. It wasn't much, but it provided some protection from the biting wind. I gathered some dry leaves and branches to create a makeshift bed, hoping it would insulate me from the cold ground. The overhang also offered a vantage point to keep an eye out for any signs of rescue. The wind howled, a mournful symphony. It was as if the mountains themselves were lamenting my plight. The sound was both eerie and oddly comforting, a reminder that I was not entirely alone in this vast wilderness. I wrapped my arms around myself, trying to conserve body heat.
Alex huddled deeper into his makeshift shelter. Loneliness pressed down. The isolation was palpable, each minute stretching into an eternity. He thought of his family and friends, hoping they would soon realize he was missing and send help. The night seemed endless, but he clung to the hope that morning would bring a new chance for survival. He clung to the hope of rescue. Every sound, every rustle in the bushes made his heart leap with anticipation. He scanned the horizon, looking for any signs of movement, any indication that help was on the way. The thought of being found kept him going, giving him the strength to endure the long, cold night. He rationed his food and water. Each bite was measured, each sip carefully considered. He knew he had to make his supplies last as long as possible. The hunger gnawed at him, but he resisted the urge to eat more. Survival was a delicate balance, and he couldn't afford to make any mistakes. He knew every bit was precious. The small amount of food he had left was a lifeline, a connection to the hope of rescue. He examined his supplies, calculating how long they might last. Each morsel was a reminder of the need to stay strong and focused. Time stretched, each hour an eternity. The wait was agonizing, but he knew he had to be patient. The sun's movement across the sky was a slow, relentless march, a reminder that time was both his enemy and his ally. He watched the horizon, hoping for a sign, any sign, that help was on the way. Days blurred, Alex's hope dwindled. He thought of his family, their faces a beacon. He wouldn't give up, he had to survive.
I collected rainwater, I foraged for edible plants. Hunger gnawed at me, a constant companion.
He built a signal fire. Smoke billowed, a desperate plea against the vast indifference of the mountain. He kept moving, searching for a familiar landmark, anything to break free from the suffocating grip of the wilderness. Then a distant sound, the whir of a helicopter.
Hope surged, a lifeline thrown across the abyss.
He raced towards the clearing, adrenaline coursing.
The helicopter circled, a beacon of salvation.
Alex waved his arms, his signal mirror flashing. They saw him.
Relief washed over him, immense and overwhelming. He was found.
The rescue team winched him aboard, safe at last.
He looked back at the mountain, no longer an adversary but a harsh teacher. The ordeal left scars, both visible and invisible. Each scar tells a story of pain, struggle, and survival. They are reminders of the challenges faced and the strength it took to overcome them. But it also forged resilience. A resilience that was built step by step through every grueling climb and every treacherous path. The mountain tested his limits, pushing him to the brink, but it also revealed an inner strength he never knew he had.
I learned the power of preparation, the importance of being ready for the unexpected. Every piece of gear, every map, every plan was a lifeline. It was about more than just survival. It was about being proactive, about anticipating challenges before they arose. The importance of respecting nature's raw power. The mountain's fury was a humbling experience, a stark reminder that nature is both beautiful and brutal. It demanded respect, and in return it offered lessons in humility and reverence.
He emerged with a profound gratitude for the search and rescue team. Their bravery and selflessness were a beacon of hope in his darkest hours. They were the unsung heroes, risking their lives to save others. Their courage, their dedication, had saved him. It was a debt he felt he could never fully repay, but one he would honor by sharing his story and raising awareness about their invaluable work.
I vowed to never take the wilderness for granted again. Each step I take now is with a newfound respect and appreciation for the natural world. The mountain taught me that life is fragile but also incredibly resilient.
Pine Ridge had tested him, broken him, and ultimately made him stronger. It was a crucible of fire that forged a new sense of self, a deeper understanding of his own capabilities and limitations. He carried its lessons etched deep in his soul, a reminder of the fragility of life and the indomitable spirit of survival. These lessons were not just about the mountain but about life itself, teaching him to face every challenge with courage and determination.